1984 on a student visa. He is being charged with 15 counts of attempted murder, 3 of assault in the first degree, 1 assault in the second degree, and numerous weapons charges.
They were apprehended after a phone tip from this auto body shop, where Rashid Baz had brought the car that police say he was driving during the attack. The front and right side windows both blown out by gunfire. When police apprehended Baz, they also discovered this cache of weapons.
We recovered the following: a 9mm Luger Cobra, loaded 9mm Glock, a .380 fully automatic gun.
Well, one thing we know was that this man with the weapons described by the police commissioner was not going deer hunting.
And in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, this neighborhood where Baz lived with his uncle and his wife, Gloria Akel.
You've never seen a gun in the house?
I've never seen a gun in the house.
Would he stay here at night? So on and off. Where else would he go?
Oh, I have no idea.
And what about motive? Was the attack on the bus on the Brooklyn Bridge in any way linked with trouble in the Middle East?
The department has not ruled out or ruled in a conspiracy. They're investigating that. They have presented, the district attorney has presented to court what has been amassed so far. And that is rather remarkable that so much has been done in this period of time.
The mayor also complimented and encouraged the city's Jewish community for its restraint in the wake of this attack on the Brooklyn Bridge. Live at the 7th Precinct, I'm Scotty Barrett, Channel 9 News.
Thanks, Scotty. The bullets on the bridge shattered lives forever. Polly Kreisman has more on the victims and the survivors of this bloody attack.
20-year-old Aaron Halberstam was known as Ari. He was the most critically wounded of the 4 rabbinical students and was today declared brain dead. He remains on life support systems.
The outlook for any recovery from the very beginning instantly was simply zero.
The giver of life and death is God, as long as there is a heartbeat.
The definition of brain death under New York state law is a difficult issue for many Orthodox and Hasidic Jews, because under rabbinical law, human life exists as long as the heart beats on its own.
There are halachic Jewish law pertaining to what can and cannot be done as far as having a person on life support systems.
We respect those beliefs, and we're going to take it hour by hour and day by day.
Doctors say 18-year-old Nachum Sasankin, who was shot behind the right ear, underwent surgery to remove bone fragments near the brainstem. His condition remains critical.
The outlook in this type of an injury is not good.
Very fine young boy who is sincere and sincere student.
Less severely wounded were 18-year-old Levi Wilhelm, whose brother Shalom drove the van yesterday.
My heart is beyond description. And I pray to God that Ari and Nachum, 2 very good individual friends of mine, should have miraculous and speedy recovery.
And 17-year-old Yaakov Shapiro was released from the hospital last night with superficial injuries.
For taking care, so I picked him up. I took him down outside in the street, laid him down, and then the ambulance came and took care of him.
We are not vengeful. We are not interested in retribution. That is not our concern. Our concern is, number 1, that we keep our faith and our hope in God. Number 2, that our loved ones, all of them, be restored to good, flourishing health.
Polly Kreisman, Channel 9 News.
We turn now to our 3rd major story of the night. It looks like
from the Arab community. You are yet to hear one Arab leader to get up and say this is not the way and to condemn the actions that they are committing every single day.
The prayers for the injured reminded most that while the investigation does continue, there are those still clinging to life.
It's not nature that runs this world, it's God. And we are waiting for God to kick in, so to speak.
The fate of those arrested is now in the hands of the legal system. As for Rashad Baz, he's being charged with 15 counts of attempted murder, 4 counts of assault, and numerous weapons charges. I'm Julian Phillips for the Channel 11 News at 10.
The motive for the murderous rampage remains a mystery tonight, as does the prime suspect in the shooting. Rashad Baz is a livery cab driver. He's from Lebanon. He's been in this country for a decade and has no history of violence. Barry Cunningham takes a look at the man police say is a cold-hearted killer.
He is a man of mystery, even to his own extended family in Brooklyn. Police will say only that Rashad Baz is a 28-year-old Lebanese national who came into the United States 10 years ago on a student visa. A relative says he has a wife somewhere, no children, and for several years has lived in a rented second-story apartment in this two-family house in Brooklyn. The suspect lived with his uncle and aunt, Gloria Akel, in the same apartment where police found enough automatic weapons to arm a SWAT team. You didn't know there were guns in your apartment?
No, I did not know there were guns in my apartment. I rarely see him. I work when he works at the times I'm home. I work the times he's out.
His aunt described the suspect as a quiet loner who never expressed hostility toward the Jews. But sources close to the investigation say that among Islamic religious books and prayer beads in the apartment, police found a crumpled news clipping on hostilities on the West Bank, including reference to a human bomb. Does he ever talk about problems in the Middle East?
Don't everybody talk about problems in the Middle East?
What does he say about it?
They just, that's his home. That's all they talk about it. They're concerned for their family. That's all.
Did you ever hear him speaking about the Jewish people?
No.
Although police believe Baz was the lone gunman who opened fire on the Hasidic students, there are growing suspicions of a conspiracy to avenge Muslim victims of the West Bank massacre. His neighbors say Baz had many Middle Eastern friends.
In the summer, you can see people even going in and out. It's the time that I saw him.
Two of the suspect's friends are Jordanian 32-year-old Halal Muhammad, shown here, and 27-year-old Bassam Riyati, both arrested tonight, charged with helping Baz dispose of the guns and the car used in the attack. Baz is not the registered owner of the vehicle, believed to be a gypsy cab. Police have taped over the license plate so as not to reveal the identity of the owner of the car while the investigation is continuing. Finally, the suspect's Aunt Gloria says her husband is being interrogated as a possible fourth suspect in the Hasidic shooting. So the accused gunman remains as mysterious as his motive, the murderous arsenal of weapons confiscated, raising several unanswered questions. Was Baz part of an anti-Jewish plot? If so, are there other conspirators still at large? And could they strike again? At the 7th Precinct, Barry Cunningham, Channel 11, News at 10.
One of the victims of the shootings has been declared brain dead, but because of religious reasons, the family is maintaining his life support. Doctors say a second victim's in grave condition and not expected to survive, and 2 others are wounded. Mary Murphy reports now on the victims of this senseless act of violence that's sending shockwaves through Jewish communities from Crown Heights all the way to Jerusalem.
Aaron Halberstam, pictured at religious camp last summer, part of an old rabbinical dynasty, brain dead at age 16.
Legally, he is dead.
Nachum Sasankin, proudly holding the picture of Grand Rebbe Schneerson in his 1993 class picture, laying severely brain damaged beside Aaron Halberstam today.
We have a tradition that the role of and the function of a doctor is to heal, not to act as a prophet.
Teenager Leve Wilhelm, doing better in a Brooklyn hospital. His brother, the driver of the van that tried to escape a bloodthirsty shooter.
My heart is beyond description. I would like to thank God for helping me save the remaining passengers, including myself.
Yaakov Shapiro is one of those passengers.
I just remember first that there was shots coming in from the back and the side of the van. After I heard those few shots, I right away ducked.
Shapiro told us he kept his head down as the van filled with 16 Hasidic students lurched forward on the bridge.
After the first time that was shooting, I like a half a minute, or maybe not, I don't know exactly how much, they stopped shooting, so I was about to get up. Thank God I didn't get up, because right then, all the shots started coming, the second wave of shots. So
Shapiro never saw the shooter and says he never heard any anti-Semitic ravings. On the other side of the bridge, amid the chaos of petrified students running for help, he found his friend, Aaron Halberstam.
I saw him sitting over there with his head down, and no one was taking care of him, because everyone went to call police and ambulance. I picked him up, I took him down outside in the street, laid him down. He wasn't reacting at all. Nachum, I saw a little, was walking about.
Nachum is Nachum Sasankin, who had a bullet ripped through his cerebellum.
He had power. I saw he had power. He was moving around.
I maintain my statement of yesterday that I feel that it's unlikely that he will survive.
He's a good scholar in school. He's one of the best in his class. And
the assessment made by Sasankin's brother was backed up by every classmate we spoke to. The 18-year-old deemed a very learned and smart student. Aaron Halberstam was admired for his closeness to the Grand Rebbe and his athletic abilities. The parents of Aaron Halberstam were hoping that prayer, more than anything, could somehow heal their critically wounded son. So they asked that his tefillin, the prayer box, be brought to his bedside at St. Vincent's Hospital. It turns out that the box, in its bloody casing, had been found near the van. Sasankin's brother spent the day talking to Nachum and not much time focusing on any arrest in the case.
I'll be very happy if they'll put away somebody who will not continue doing what he is able to do.
A sentiment echoed by Frida Shapiro of Crown Heights, mother of the teen who came so close to death but eluded it.
We are very grateful for our personal miracle. But it's a very bittersweet thankfulness because there are mothers who are grieving for the very deep pain that their children are undergoing now. We should all get healed. Our city should heal. The world should heal.
If only it could be so simple and the differences among us not so complex. I'm Mary Murphy, Channel 11 News at 10.
The other big story we're tracking today.
What was the motive? Plus, our savvy shop.
Students, and later on questions linger in the case of...
We're in court this morning. Eric Shawn is in the newsroom with the very latest. Eric.
Rosanna, there is no bail for the three suspects, including the alleged shooter, as authorities still try to determine if this horrible attack was part of an organized terrorist conspiracy.
Sources say he confessed, admitting he opened fire in his hideous terrorist-style attack, but his lawyer claims cops have the wrong man. Rashid Boggs, the 28-year-old Brooklyn livery cab driver who was from Lebanon, was arraigned on 15 counts of attempted murder early this morning and said nothing in court. Two others were also arraigned, accused of helping him hide his car and guns. 32-year-old Holly Muhammad and 27-year-old Bassam Rayati, the owner of the car service where Boz works.
Police department's action here was extraordinary, and so were the people of the city of New York. This would not have been possible without many, many people cooperating, including in the police work. People called in information, some of that in the Arab community, which I think has to be noted.
Prosecutors say Boz was fingered in two lineups and have written and videotaped confessions from the alleged gunman who reportedly told cops conflicting stories about why he opened fire on the van, telling some the shooting spree was justified revenge for the mosque massacre because he hates Jews. Well, other sources tell us Boz claimed the van cut him off in traffic. Detectives don't buy that.
We definitely know that there was not an accident. There have been several assertions that a cut-off situation may have occurred, but that's what we'll attempt to either prove or discount as we put the case forward.
Boz was nabbed after he tried to get the window of his car fixed. Police believe it was blown out when he opened fire on the van.
I think it's important that they're keeping up an investigation, and I'm also asking the FBI to get involved and to look what kind of terrorist network is working here in the shores of the United States and in Brooklyn, where there is the largest population of Jews living.
Oh, sadly, the most critically wounded 16-year-old Ari Halberstam remains on life support, clinically brain dead, as this morning police continued their investigation to see if this was perhaps part of a terror plot or apparently the unexplainable violent outburst of one man. Live in the newsroom, I'm Eric Shawn. Rosanna, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Eric. And this latest winter storm put a free...
Weapons. Their bail is set at $20,000. All three live in Brooklyn. Today, a leader of the Lubavitch community thanked the Arab community for their cooperation in catching the suspect.
I would ask him, how did you commit such an act of terrorism against humanity? What have these innocent young rabbinic students ever done to you? They haven't even sinned in their lives. These are the purest, the finest.
The rabbi did thank the Arab community there. In that particular statement, he was obviously answering the question of what he would ask the suspects had he the chance to do that. Officials are keeping quiet about the possible motive as they had from the beginning, but no one has ruled out that the attack was possibly in retaliation for last week's massacre by a Jewish gunman in the West Bank. Cindy?
Hundreds of New Jersey residents and the man accused of shooting them is held right now without bail. Rashad Baz was arraigned early this morning, and our senior correspondent, John Johnson, has details. John?
Well, his lawyer is saying police have the wrong man.
But 28-year-old Rashad Baz, according to police, has been identified by witnesses as the gunman who opened fire on a van filled with Jewish students. Late last night in Manhattan's 7th Precinct, Baz, a Lebanese national born in Beirut, was moved to police headquarters for his arraignment this morning on charges that he pumped round after round into the vehicle carrying the Jewish students. Two other men identified as 32-year-old Halai Mohammed and 27-year-old Bassam Riati, both Jordanian nationals, were charged with hindering prosecution and weapons possession. Police believe they helped Baz get rid of the guns and the 1978 Chevy Impala after the attack. All three men were arraigned this morning in Manhattan Criminal Court and held without bail, while the wife of Halai Mohammed denied her husband's alleged involvement.
They make him a criminal for nothing. This is a terrible thing, really. I think the guy, he did it, he's sick or he crazy, but my husband, he don't was with him in the car when he shoot the people. Why they arrest him?
Baz and the other two suspects were arrested Wednesday in Brooklyn after tips led the police to a Brooklyn body shop where the car was found used in the attack and an apartment where Baz was arrested and weapons were found. Baz, a livery cab driver, reportedly told police he did not plan the attack but was provoked by an incident between the two vehicles on the Brooklyn Bridge. Police are reportedly skeptical, while on Eyewitness News this morning, Mayor Giuliani was praising the fast work by the police in the arrests.
But very, very proud of the work of the New York City Police Department. Couldn't possibly have done a better job. I mean, there's no way they could have possibly have done this any better for us.
Police are saying the shooting of the Jewish students is still under investigation, and without a clear motive, the possibility of a conspiracy has not been ruled out.
Thank you, John. Anger over a massacre by 400 Palestinian prisoners. So far, 1,000 Palestinians have been released in efforts to get the PLO back to the peace talks. Negotiations were suspended.
You know, black and prior knowledge of the attack, so they were not charged with conspiracy or acting in concert.
They're accessories after the fact. They assisted the principal defendant in some aspects of activity after the fact, after the shooting.
The investigation continues. The next hearing in court is set for March 8th. I'm Chris Borgen. Channel 2 News is live in Sunset Park. Back to you, Michelle, in the studio.
Thank you, Chris. In other news this late, federal investigators are trying to learn why
the drive-by shooting that wounded 4 Hasidic students Tuesday morning. 3 men arrested, 1 Hasid brain dead, another not likely to live, 2 less badly wounded. No real motive reported so far, and senior correspondent John Johnson picks up the story. John?
Well, Bill, according to police, 28-year-old Rashad Baz says he was provoked into committing the attack on the van carrying 15 Hasidic Jewish students, which left 1 brain dead and another critically wounded. Tonight, police are reportedly skeptical about that motive for the attack. Before this morning's arraignment, the Lebanese-born livery cab driver police are calling the shooter was whisked out of Manhattan's 7th Precinct last night, along with 2 other men identified as Halal Mohammed and Bassam Riati, both Jordanian nationals, who police believe helped Baz get rid of the guns and the car used in the attack. Halal Mohammed's wife told Eyewitness News her husband was innocent of any involvement in the case.
They make him a criminal for nothing. This is a terrible thing, really. I think the guy, he did it, he's sick or he crazy, but my husband, he don't was with him in the car when he shoot the people. Why they arrest him?
Despite the denials in Manhattan Criminal Court this morning, Assistant District Attorney William Mahoney revealed that Rashad Baz had been identified in 2 police lineups by witnesses as the lone gunman who sprayed the van carrying the Jewish students 3 times on the Brooklyn Bridge. Mayor Giuliani, in the meantime, on Eyewitness News this morning, cautioned the public once again not to draw any conclusions about the attack.
Make certain that in whatever we do here and discuss, the blame and the responsibility for this lies on a person or possibly a group of people. But it doesn't lie on an entire people, and we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't engage in that kind of thinking.
Authorities are crediting tips from the public that led police to arrest Baz in Brooklyn and where they found a stash of weapons, while tonight Rockland County District Attorney Ken Gribbett revealed Baz was a former student at Rockland Community College back in 1984. The lawyer for Rashad Baz has claimed tonight that his client is innocent and that the police have the wrong man. Bill.
Thank you, John, very much. Police say they solved the case of
think storm number 50...
Sometime before 8:33 p.m., police at the scene
hindering that investigation. And police now are revealing more details about what the alleged gunman told them concerning Tuesday's shooting on the Brooklyn Bridge. Mary Murphy has that story.
What was the first impression Lebanese cab driver Rashad Baz left with police as they accused him of spraying a van full of 16 Jewish students with 9mm bullets? One veteran investigator tells us, quote, he was collected and cool. At first, he denied knowing anything. But later on Wednesday morning, Baz changed his story about what happened on the Brooklyn Bridge, giving his version of the events that left 16-year-old Ari Halberstam brain dead and Israeli immigrant Nahum Sasankin near death. The detective, quote, it's a self-serving statement that he was cut off, that they wouldn't let him pass. He says he called them effing Jews, and then he opened fire. He seems to be intelligent. He didn't ramble on and on about Zionism. He just doesn't like Jews. He's got all this pent-up rage. He's probably like that doctor from Brooklyn who went to Hebron. You will recall last Friday a Brooklyn-born doctor, Baruch Goldstein, fatally shot 40 praying Muslims in a holy cave on the West Bank. But police say no one should jump to the conclusion that this was an act of retaliation. What is clear is that Baz was stashing a mini arsenal of weapons in his Sunset Park apartment. Today, the Pioneer Car Service, where he only recently started working in Red Hook, Brooklyn, was locked up. An acquaintance describing Baz this way.
You never knew what was going on through his mind. You know, he was very quiet and stuff.
Police tell Channel 11 News that the body shop worker who was so crucial in leading them to the suspect is now in the witness protection program to safeguard his life. The employee told police that Baz put a gun to his head here at the Hilal Body Shop on the BQE Service Road and demanded that his telltale bullet-riddled car window be fixed. The employee later that night showed up at the 62nd Precinct and told the entire story to detectives. Investigators say Bassam Riyati, Baz's boss at the car service, helped him hide the weapons after the attack and ditched the blue Chevy allegedly used. Channel 11 News has obtained a copy of this Jordanian passport that Riyati used to get his livery cab license, which shows that Riyati, like Baz, came to the United States on a student visa. The other suspect, Lai Mohammed, owns the body shop and is accused of helping Baz clean the gun shelf. Arab shop owners in Red Hook are still stunned by the crime Baz is charged with.
Everyone is responsible for his act. So whatever he do, he have to pay for it.
And Dari hopes the Hebron incident is not what motivated Baz.
I don't think that's the right way to do it, retaliate. I think it should be more understanding between the Jewish and the Muslim and the Palestinian, especially the Palestinian people.
I'm Mary Murphy, Channel 11 News at 10.
Behind the massive manhunts and impressive detective work that brought the quick arrest in the shootings was a little bit of luck. And that bit of luck stretched a long way in helping to crack this case. Barry Cunningham has that part of the story.
Call it dumb luck or just the stupidity of criminals, but the arrest of suspected gunman Rashad Baz in the shooting of 4 yeshiva students resulted from a lucky break. A police tip that Baz drove his car to an auto body shop after the shooting spree.
Yes, that was a lucky break, but I'll tell you why it happened. It happened because the police department and city government had a very calculated plan to make information available.
In fact, New York police and the FBI have had an incredible streak of lucky breaks in highly sensational cases. Among tons of debris in the World Trade Center bombing, a federal investigator found a tiny scrap of metal bearing the ID number of the rental van used as a car bomb. That cracked the case.
We assumed that a piece of crucial evidence like that would be down at the bottom of the crater at the seat of the explosion, and we would have to lift 6,000 tons of rubble out of that pit before we got to it.
Former New York FBI Director James Fox says good detective work means making the most of lucky breaks.
One of the oldest and most famous cases in the New York FBI was the spy, Colonel Rudolph Abel. A hollow nickel that he used to transmit microfilm was accidentally given to a newsboy. It fell open, and they called the police, who called the FBI.
The feds also got lucky breaking up the Walker family spy ring, the most damaging espionage case in U.S. history.
He stopped mailing alimony payments to his wife. She called the Boston FBI. They didn't do anything with it for a month. Thank God she got drunk one night and called them again.
Lucky breaks are part of the news business, too. Just ask 72-year-old Louis Liotta, a tabloid photographer who lost his job 5 months ago during a strike at the New York Post. Louis happened to be driving across the Brooklyn Bridge Tuesday just after the shooting of the 4 yeshiva students. He still had his camera with him, and he got the best pictures of the tragedy. He took them to his old Post editor.
Kenny Chandler loved them, and he said, "What do you want?" I said, "Give me my effing job back." And he did, with vacation, top pay, 3 days a week, and now I'm happy.
The mayor, the photographer, and just about everybody in law enforcement seems to agree all the good luck charms in the world won't bring you luck if you don't make your own lucky breaks. At the Brooklyn Bridge, Barry Cunningham, Channel 11, News at 10.
The winner's of information